What's going on, everybody? So as I'm sure all of you know, we have a brand new Golf Wang drop coming tomorrow. Today is Thursday and I will be uploading this video today. So tomorrow, which is Friday, we will be getting the brand new Golf Wang drop. There's one thing I found interesting about this drop, and that is the fact that they are opening the flagship back. So just like a lot of other businesses, Golf had to close the physical Golf Wang store on Fairfax in Los Angeles. And it was closed for a long time, a few months. I don't know exactly when it closed, but the store has been out of commission for a while. And this Saturday, they are opening up the store and they're doing a Supreme style thing. We have to actually make a reservation to go to the store. Now, whether or not this will be permanent or not, I have no idea, but this is most definitely because of the COVID-19 situation. So they don't have a huge line of people just crowded together all at the store at one time, so it's not like a health hazard or anything like that. So if you do live in Los Angeles or in the surrounding area, you can go to golfwang.com/flag where you can make a reservation to visit the store in person. I wish I could do that because I love going to the golf store, but I unfortunately don't live in Los Angeles, so it's very rare that I get to go. But it's been a while since the store's been open, so if you have that opportunity, then I definitely recommend going. Just make sure you keep your 6 feet, wear your mask, all that stuff, wash your hands, just make sure you're safe. But for the rest of us, this drop will be happening October 2nd at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which means for those of us who live on the East Coast, like myself, this will be dropping at noon. But with that being said, I wanted to share my thoughts on this drop with you guys. I'm not going to talk about every single piece because I've already shared my thoughts on the autumn 2020 season as a whole. That video will be linked at the end of this video, so you can check that out if you would like. Alright guys, so now we are switching the view and we have the preview up from the second installment of the autumn 2020 season. And like I said, I'm only going to share my thoughts on the pieces we haven't seen before. But before I get into talking about the pieces that we haven't seen before, I want to talk about a piece that's actually absent from this drop list. So I'm not sure if many of you remember, but it was actually these two jackets right here are nowhere to be seen in this preview. And now in one of the initial emails that we got from Golf, it said that this was going to be dropping with a Letterman jacket, which I assumed was this jacket, even though it kind of looked more like a bomber. It's kind of styled like a Letterman jacket, so I just assumed that this was the Letterman jacket they were talking about, which obviously you've all seen the preview, so you know that that was actually incorrect. But this was actually a piece that a lot of people were a fan of, and I was a fan of myself. I really liked this purple one. I was kind of on the fence on whether I was actually going to pay for it or not, but it's kind of interesting to see that it's not on the preview, considering a lot of people were actually interested in this piece. So just kind of something I wanted to throw in there. And maybe this piece will drop. We honestly have no idea. We're just going to have to wait until the drop happens tomorrow. But it doesn't give me a whole lot of hope for this piece since it wasn't in the preview. But I just thought that was interesting. And with that being said, I wanted to go ahead and talk about the golf pieces that we have not seen. And the first is this brand new Letterman jacket. And I actually really like this jacket. It's got the same exact cursive G that is on the front of this ringer tee right here. I'm not sure what design this is going to have on the back, but this is a really nice piece. I think this jacket would have been so fire if they would have done it in a dark green colorway similar to the Lacoste collab. And that's just because I think light blue and dark green just look amazing together. And I just think that all the yellow hits on this, while it does look really good on this jacket, I think if it were dark green, it would just look that much better. But still, overall, a really solid piece. And that's a very tempting pickup, but I know I'm not going to be able to afford it because Letterman jackets are extremely ridiculously expensive. The Stray Rats Letterman jacket that I have was actually like $400, and I don't see this being, you know, any cheaper than that. If it is, it won't be by much. So although I do really love this piece, I think I'm going to have to pass. And then moving on to these work jackets, we actually have a closer look at the design that's going to be on the back. So here on the official Golf Wang Instagram, we have a closer look at the design that is on the back of the work jacket, which is actually a really nice touch. I was kind of worried that this work jacket was going to be a little too simple with just the minimal branding on the front. I heard a lot of people talking about using a rose was kind of a generic design, and a rose design is slightly getting overplayed just, you know, in the streetwear landscape as a whole. But I really love the colors they picked on it, and I do think that although I do kind of agree with people that roses are kind of getting too generic in streetwear, I don't think it's that overplayed yet, and I do think it's a nice touch on the back of this jacket. It adds a little bit more flavor to it. But moving on from that, I wanted to get into these shorts a little bit because this khaki colorway right here was actually not seen in the preview that we saw initially. I'm not sure if you saw the video, but in Pharrell's entrepreneur video, they actually had the store already stocked with items from this season, which actually led a lot of people to believe that the store was going to be opening up. And a lot of people actually noticed these shorts. And if you did see my video where I talked about the Golf Autumn 2020 season, you know that I'm not a crazy fan of these style of shorts. There's a lot of people that can pull them off, and I do feel like if I put my mind and time to it, I could pull them off, but I just don't really think I want to. I just don't really think these are my style. But if they are your style, I think they picked really good colors with this, and I think the khaki with the light blue is a good hit as well. Moving on from that, we have a new line of 3 hoodies, and this is the same exact design where it had the halo over the G and the devil's tail coming off of the G on the Wang. So 3 new colorways here. We have a dark green on orange, a red on light blue, and a tan, kind of a khaki on pink. In my initial video, I said I wasn't really a fan of this logo because I personally thought it was a little bit generic, but it has slowly grown on me. I'm kind of slowly becoming a fan of it. I don't think I'm personally going to pick any up, but I do really like this khaki on pink colorway. And the next tee that we have is a long sleeve, and I can't at all make out what it is. It looks like some sort of old man with a beard sitting, you know, crisscross. I can't really see what it says below that. It reminds me a lot of something like a True Religion kind of thing. I don't really know why I thought that, and I don't even like wear True Religion or anything, and golf and True Religion like aren't similar at all, but it just kind of looks like something that they would put out. But I mean, that's kind of interesting. I don't think I'm going to be picking it up, but I will have to get a closer look at that on drop day before I form my true opinions on it. It doesn't look like anything I'm interested in right now, but maybe that'll change when I see a clearer picture of it. And moving on from that, we have some t-shirts. I don't really remember if these t-shirts right here were seen in the preview, but I don't remember seeing them. And so these t-shirts feature the same exact design that's on the back of this vest, and this design is also what's on that side of those cargo shorts that we looked at earlier. But it looks like they've thrown that design on some t-shirts, which is not surprising at all. I'm sure if you love this design, then you're gonna like these t-shirts. They come in pretty cool colorways. I'm not a huge fan of the mint on purple, but I do like this khaki on light blue and this white on pink. And then moving on to the next t-shirts, we have what seems to be a pig with a police hat on it, which, you know, in light of everything that's been happening with police brutality, this does make a lot of sense for them to put out a politically charged shirt like this. Believe it or not, I actually am kind of a fan of this t-shirt. I don't know if I'm personally gonna pick it up. You know, I'm really kind of moving away from t-shirts with designs on them in general. I usually just keep my t-shirts pretty simple, and I've been focusing a lot more on the way it fits me and the color of the t-shirt more than I am the design. Pretty much I'm moving a lot more into cut and sew pieces rather than wearing t-shirts and hoodies just in my own personal wardrobe. But this is still a really solid tee, but it is really funny, and it does make sense for them to release a shirt like this with the current political climate. And moving on from that, we have two new Cursive G logo hats, which gives us a closer look at the G logo that was on that yellow Letterman jacket we looked at earlier. And believe it or not, I actually really enjoy these trucker hats. I don't think I'm going to be picking up the yellow trucker hat because I already have a nerd trucker that's in the same exact yellow colorway as well, and I don't really see myself wearing that trucker over the one I have. But I found myself wearing a lot more like orange and stuff like that recently, so this trucker hat may be a pickup for me. I'm gonna have to see the price on it first before I make any final decisions. Both of these are actually really solid hats. I love that logo, and I love the logo they did on the ringer as well. It really gives me a vintage vibe, and that's mostly what I'm into when I look for wearing truckers. I want it to kind of look a little vintage, and this G logo definitely gives me that vibe, so I am a fan of both of these hats. Moving on from that, we have a new colorway of the Golf Wang with the halo and the devil's tail over here in this red on light blue colorway, which all of us have seen this before. Golf Wang posted it on their Instagram in a picture with one of the models, I don't remember who it was, wearing this vest right here. So that would match really well with a vest, but whenever I wear that vest, I'm probably just gonna throw on like a bucket hat or something, keep it pretty simple. My favorite out of these three hats is probably this dark green and orange one. I do really like that one a lot, and I did for like a little bit there consider picking it up, but I'm not sure. Moving on from that, we have the G hats. I'm kind of disappointed in these G hats. I know I already said it, but I was hoping that we would see some more colorways of these G hats. Just for example, we saw Tyler wear like a tan one not too long ago, and of course the brown G hat that I personally love and is a grail to me that everybody wants. I was really hoping we would see those two G hats come along in the lookbook later, because with us seeing the new colorway of these khaki shorts and the new colorway of the hat, it did seem to me like they were only showing us limited colorways of pieces they had already put out in the preview, and that they were going to surprise us with them when it actually dropped. So although that might still be a possibility, I do feel like if that was going to happen, it would have happened in this preview, but I'm not going to get my hopes up because both of those hats are really solid. But I do think I may end up picking up this green G hat. I don't know, we'll see what happens. I love this lavender G hat as well. I just don't really see it fitting into my personal wardrobe a lot. Moving on from that, we have two new safari hats, and this is golf keeping up with safari vibe that they've been using for this design. So this vest that I have right here is technically called the safari vest, even though I've been addressing it as a fisherman's vest because that's always what I've called those style of vests. But technically that is called a safari vest, and this is technically a safari hat. These both come in the same exact colorway that the vests come in. I'm not crazy about these hats just because I don't really like safari hats and stuff, but I do think I could see some people pulling these off in pretty unique ways. I just don't think I would do it personally. Moving on from that, we have two new Golf Wang key clips, and these are technically called like carabiners or whatever, but I just call them key clips because these have a key ring on them, so that's obviously what they're for. And I kind of have the same opinion on these as I did with these markers down here. Pretty much I would just go go on Amazon or something and pick up like a key clip or whatever. And I'm not sure how much these are going to cost, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that these are going to be more expensive than a regular carabiner you would pick up anywhere else. So, you know, just go on Amazon or whatever and pick you up a really nice sturdy key clip. And then next we have a golf lanyard that I can't really see, so I'm not really going to share my opinions too much on that. Although I will say I'm not too crazy about lanyards. I've never really used them like ever. I get a lanyard like every year when I go to Camp Flognaw, and I never use it. I kind of just keep it as like a little souvenir. But as far as like style purposes or whatever, I never really see myself using a lanyard. Moving on from that, we have 3 brand new keychains, 2 coming in the Golf Wang Safari design and 1 coming in the golf keyboard design. And I don't think I ever shared my thoughts on winter 2019, but I was pretty disappointed in that season. And I wasn't a fan of the t-shirts or the button up that they did with this keyboard design, but I do think it's actually pretty cool on this keychain. And if it is kind of textured like an actual keyboard instead of just being flat, I think it'll actually be really cool. So I kind of have my eyes on that. I'm not sure. We'll just have to see. And I'm not too crazy about these Golf Safari design keychains either. I do plan on picking some pieces up from this drop, but I want to keep that a surprise until I can actually make an unboxing video about that. So just stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, comment below and let me know your thoughts on this season. Do you plan on picking anything up, or do you not plan on picking anything up? If you like this kind of content and you would like to see more, definitely like this video and subscribe to the channel. I have a ton of golf and streetwear content coming moving forward. But that'll do for this video, guys. Thanks so much for checking this out, and I will see you in the next one.